All right. Hello, third grade artists. Today we're going to go back to our Tar Beach quilts and do day 2. So last week we listened to Tar Beach. We saw the little girl fly over the bridge in the ice cream factory in the Union Building to own it. I asked you to start thinking about what you might want to own. And we drew our border for our quilt around our square. Today we're going to talk about patterns. Now your class, we did get a little bit to start on this last week, so you're just a wee touch behind, but you're always ahead anyway, so this will be good. So we are going to create patterns going around our border. Remember, a pattern is something that repeats. So last week, I'm going to move this out of the way, we took some time in class to review simple line and shape patterns. Every time I've done this project, and I've done this project with so many third grade classes, there's always some friends that go really, really hard and complicated. You need to come up with 5 different line or shape patterns. And you have to repeat those same 5 patterns going all the way around your border. That's a lot. So you're going to be drawing these at least 20 times. So that's a lot. So do you want something really hard? No, you want to kind of keep it simple. And a lot of people think that simple doesn't mean artistic, and that's wrong. Sometimes the simplest patterns and the simplest designs are the most appealing to viewers. So I talked about line patterns. When we do a line pattern, think about the lines we know. We know about straight lines. We know about zigzag lines. We know about wavy lines. We know about loopy lines. Right? We know a lot about lines. Now, each line can travel in different directions. They can travel horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. So what that means, I could take any one of these lines and repeat it going in each of these directions, and that would give me 3 patterns. Let me show you. So I'm going to draw some boxes. So we have boxes all along our border. And so when we create a pattern is something that repeats and fills the space. This one's a little big, but that's okay. So I like a simple straight line pattern. I think a straight diagonal pattern is really interesting. And notice I didn't make it really, really tiny. Some people in your class last week were doing them really, really, really tiny. And that's still a pattern, and that is still correct. I don't know if you can see that. It's just really hard because what I'm going to have you do after we pencil this is we're going to use a Sharpie and color it or outline it. And then we're going to paint it. So painting tiny is not easy. So this is my one pattern. I can make a completely different pattern using a straight line by going vertical or horizontal. I could even decide to forget about lines and repeat a shape. So really simple shapes to repeat are circles, hearts, stars. You could even repeat some spirals. Lots of these things or whatever you come up with. So my favorite pattern is actually polka dot. So I'm going to just kind of randomly draw some kind of not so tiny circles. So remember, a pattern just has to repeat. So as long as it happens twice, it's a pattern. So then maybe I want to try my spiral pattern. Now, this is not a pattern. Okay? That is just a design because nothing repeats. So if I like the spiral, which I do, I need to decide how many spirals I want to do. So Mrs. Cole said it needs to happen at least twice. So I'm going to put some spirals, and you want them kind of about the same size, which is kind of hard to do. I tend to do things in 5s for a pattern just because it's visually appealing to me, but whatever you do, as long as you kind of fill your space with that shape. So I already have 3 patterns, and I really like a straight line. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to do a vertical straight line pattern. Now I have 4 patterns. I could choose to do another shape pattern, or I could do a different line pattern. Remember, we have our lines all over here. So I also really like a good zigzag. So I'm going to do a zigzag. I know a lot of you are going to want to combine things, but I'm going to ask you to keep it simple and do 1 line or 1 shape per pattern. That way it keeps it simple. So I really like this. So this is my pattern. So what I'm going to do, and you don't have to do this on a separate paper unless you want to. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your patterns and you're going to start in a corner. It doesn't matter what corner you start on. Just pick a corner and you're going to start designing your quilt. So I'm going to do my diagonal pattern, then my polka dot pattern. Then I'm going to kind of mix it up. I kind of like to do line, pattern, line, but that's Mrs. Cole. Then I'm going to do another line pattern. Then I'm going to do my spiral. So I'm doing my 5 patterns. And then my last one, I wanted to do zigzags. So as long as that happens at least twice, we're good. So I have my 5 pattern. So what I do now is I repeat it. So I went diagonal, polka dot, vertical, spiral, zigzag. So I'm going to start over again. Diagonal, polka dot, spiral, zigzag. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. So your job is to keep designing your pattern. And you don't want to go fast. I would actually set a timer for like 30 minutes and design for about 30 minutes. And you want to repeat it the exact same way it happened. So I have to look back at this pattern, and after polka dots, I do my vertical lines. If you get thrown off and make an accident, you can use your eraser. If you realize way after you've gone past that you've messed up your pattern, that's okay, just move on. But try to pay attention to your pattern. So you can repeat your pattern probably twice on one edge. So now I'm going to turn my paper, because I like to work this way, and I need to decide what comes after zigzag. It's diagonal lines. So I'm back to my diagonal lines. So set a timer for about 30 minutes and do patterns for 30 minutes. If you get done designing your border today, fantastic. If you only get halfway in 30 minutes, that's okay too. Because I promise in class, last week we only got the first five done. So I have a feeling next week we might only get a certain amount done, maybe half. I have a feeling some of our friends will get done, some won't. So your goal is to try to get your whole border with your 5 patterns repeating. However, if it takes you longer than 30 minutes, just take a break, take a picture, and upload it to our Google Classroom assignment. I don't want you working more than 30 minutes on this, because that would be a lot. And then sometimes we get sloppy. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do this for 30 minutes, but really it takes probably about 2 to 3 minutes to do all 5. You could listen to something while you do this. It doesn't really take that long. Just follow your pattern. Use the ones beside that you've done before to help guide you. It's really easy to get lost in your pattern or to want to go really fast and get sloppy. So if you feel like you're getting sloppy, that's when you need to stop. So keep going until you get, if you can, all the way around designed in pencil. If you can't quite get all the way around in 30 minutes, then stop. Next week, I'm going to ask you to use a super skinny Sharpie. I don't remember if I put one in your art kit or not. This is an Expo marker, not a super skinny Sharpie. If you have a fat Sharpie, that's okay, but it's going to be hard to do these little details. So if you have a super skinny Sharpie with the flat top, let me show you. But in black, that would be perfect. I would say a black super skinny Sharpie, because see, it's really skinny. You'll need it. I can't remember if I put one in your art kit or not. I ran out halfway through when I was doing it with the big kids stuff, so I'm not sure if you got it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to keep doing my pattern, and next time we're together, we'll talk about next steps. I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.